These are the top 5 Black Friday gaming monitor deals. If at any point during the video you want to check out any of these 5 deals, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links, but let's jump into the number 5 spot. And that is the INNOCN 40C1R, typically priced at $599.99, now down on sale on Black Friday to $399.99, so basically a $200 discount. Now this is a massive 40-inch screen size with an aspect ratio of 21:9, so it is an ultra wide. This has a resolution of 3440 by 1440p or ultra wide 1440p. For panel type, this uses an IPS, which means great colors, viewing angles, and gaming performance. Now 40 inches you might think is really big without a curve. However, this was not an issue at all because it's so big that the edges of the screen during gameplay are actually in your peripheral vision and a curve is not needed. I have used other monitors that a curve is needed when they are flat. This is actually not one of them, and I still use it today. It's actually on my sim racing rig. But this is a gaming monitor, so it hits 144 Hz, it has FreeSync Premium, and it also works well with G-Sync with no screen tearing at all. As for brightness and colors, you might think that it dips down because of the price here, but no, this hits 350 nits of brightness, which is very good. And this covers 95% of the DCI-P3 color space and comes factory calibrated from INNOCN. That's a whole lot of value, especially on sale. As for the response time and ghosting, this is the only place it takes a slight dip. However, it is better than most VA panel gaming monitors. So in gameplay, you may notice slight amounts of ghosting, but majority of the time, it doesn't even bother me. And I review a ton of monitors. So unless you're a competitive gamer, this is probably going to be okay for you. Overall, this is a beast of a monitor, especially if you want a massive 40-inch screen size, especially on sale, $399.99. Let's move on to the number 4 sale. And that is the LG 32GQ950-B, one of the biggest monitor releases this year. From a price tag of $1,299, now on sale down to $899.99. I would have preferred a little bit of a bigger sale, maybe at an $800 price point rather than a $900 price point, but this is still very good as it's the cheapest we've seen this monitor and it was very recently released. 31.5-inch screen size with a resolution of 3840 by 2160 or 4K. Now this means it has the perfect PPI or pixels per inch, how crisp and clear that monitor is actually going to appear to your eye. This has the perfect resolution, hitting about 140 pixels per inch. This means even small text is going to be crisp and clear. Games are going to look absolutely beautiful and as lifelike as possible. Zero pixelation. This hits 144 Hz natively and has a factory overclock going up to 160 Hz, which is awesome. You just turn that on the menu system. As well as that, you get FreeSync Premium Pro and is NVIDIA certified G-Sync compatible. FreeSync Premium Pro means you can have variable refresh rate on, which is G-Sync or FreeSync, during HDR gameplay. How cool is that? As for the brightness, this does extremely well, hitting a whopping 520 nits of brightness. That's 70 nits over the rating of 450 nits. And in HDR, this is the best HDR experience you can get in an IPS monitor that is non-mini LED lit, literally the best possible HDR experience you can get. And in HDR, this hits up to 1000 nits of peak brightness with those highlights. It is a very stunning display in HDR. This also covers 98% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, and at full 160 Hz overclocked refresh rate, this can output 10 or 12 bits of color, which is fantastic. This is something you could actually legitimately do some professional video or photo editing on as well if you're a YouTuber by day and gamer by night. I relate to that. All right, response time and ghosting is exactly what you'd expect here. It's extremely fast, basically having zero ghosting. This thing is literally crystal clear. Now, this is one of my favorite monitor releases all year and is LG's flagship gaming monitor. And this is the lowest price that we've seen to this date. But let's move on to the number 3 spot, which is the Gigabyte M32U. Typically priced at $799.99, now on sale for $577.99. Again, I think the lowest price we've ever seen the M32U at. Now again, this is a 32-inch screen size with a resolution of 3840 by 2160 or 4K. So same screen size, same resolution as the previous one. So if you're into 4K, 32 inches, this is the time to buy. We got two monitors that are looking really good. Now, as far as the PPI, it's the same story here. No visible pixelation in anything, whether that's small text, games, everything looks incredibly crisp and clear. And this is an IPS panel, so again, great viewing angles, great colors, and fantastic gaming performance. This is 144 Hz, and also like the LG, has FreeSync Premium Pro, which means you can have HDR on with variable refresh rate. And this is also G-Sync compatible, not certified, but it does work well. Now, brightness is good, not quite like the LG, but this is good, hitting about 400 nits of brightness. This is vibrant and beautiful, but not vibrant and beautiful like that LG. It also doesn't hit that same peak brightness in SDR 520 nits. Definitely a difference between 400 and 520 nits, but the biggest difference here is the HDR experience, where on the GQ950, the previous LG that we talked about, is fantastic. The HDR experience here is just lacking a little bit. But if you don't mind that and you don't want to pay the extra for that, this is a really good price, like a really good price, which is why it's ranked closer to that #1 position. For colors, this covers 90% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, and accuracy out of the box is quite good. But again, 90% versus 98%, that's a pretty big difference between the LG and this monitor. However, if you're not gonna do any professional photo and video editing and you don't mind it not being quite as vibrant and beautiful as that LG, this is still 4K. This is still high brightness. This is a great 4K 32-inch gaming monitor, and $577.99, that is a good price. For the response time and ghosting, there is basically no difference between the LG and this monitor, being absolutely crystal clear. This thing is very, very fast. For the price tag, this is an absolute steal, and if you're looking to get into a high refresh rate 4K 32-inch gaming monitor, it's either this one or it's the LG. These are great prices right now. Hop on it before they're gone. All right, moving on to the #2 spot. There's another LG. It's the LG 32 GQ850-B, having a typical price tag of $699.99, now on sale all the way down to $479.99. This is again a 31.5-inch screen size, but this time it has a resolution of 2560 by 1440p. So you do get a lower PPI, but here's what you get in return: 240 Hertz. You get a very fast, almost like esports level fast gaming monitor. But the difference here is you're getting a very fast gaming monitor, but you are not compromising on the overall beauty and usability outside of gaming. This is also using LG's Nano IPS panel. And I do want to mention, this doesn't just hit 240 Hertz, but it has a factory overclock to go all the way up to 260 Hertz. This has NVIDIA G-Sync and FreeSync Premium. Now, brightness is great, hitting 450 nits in SDR and 510 nits in a 100% window in HDR. Very, very vibrant and beautiful. This panel looks absolutely stunning. Overall, this looks pretty much the same as the GQ950. The only difference here is it's not quite as crisp and clear as the GQ950, as this one's 1440p and the 950 is 4K. But the overall colors, the overall vibrancy of the panel is basically identical. So if you do want a higher refresh rate and a considerably lower price tag, well, that's why this is in the #2 position. It is a really good deal. The colors are great, covering 98% of the DCI-P3 color space, just like the GQ950. And this can output 10 or 12 bits of color at full 260 Hertz. That's really impressive. And you see how there's no compromise, even though you're getting a very speedy and fast monitor for gaming. Response time and ghosting is exactly what you'd expect here, hitting a 1 millisecond great response time, having slightly more ghosting than the GQ950, but still small enough where I would consider this basically crystal clear. It is so close that the differences between the GQ950 and this and the M32U are negligible. This thing is quick as heck. Overall, a great choice for an extremely fast monitor that does not compromise on the beauty of the image that's being displayed. And come on, for under 500 bucks, you're getting one of LG's most premium gaming monitors. And it was just released. All right, now before we move on to the #1 spot, we got an honorable mention, which is the Samsung Neo G8. Typical price tag of $1,499 down to $999.99. So basically $1,000. You're down about 500 bucks. We're just gonna go over this really quick. It's 32 inches. It's 4K. It's got a massive 1000R curve. It's mini LED lit with full array local dimming. So you're getting deep blacks similar to an OLED. Fantastic HDR, possibly the best HDR experience this year. Oh, and on top of that, it does 240 240 hertz. The only real issue with this, and the reason that it's in an honorable mention, is it has scan lines at 240 hertz and 4K on your desktop. You're never going to notice it in game. However, on your desktop, it did have that issue. So you probably want to bump it down to 120 hertz on your desktop and then bump it back up to 240 during gameplay. This is one of the best and most enjoyable gaming monitors, but outside of gaming, it does lack a little bit due to those scan lines. But definitely a monitor you should think about during this sale, and if you've already had your eye on the Neo G8, well, this is the time to pick it up. But let's move on to the number one best Black Friday gaming monitor deal, which is the LG 34GP83AB. We're seeing a lot of LG this year. They're bringing the sales. This has a typical price tag of $799.99 now, all the way down to the lowest price I think we've ever seen it at, $599.99. This is a 34-inch ultrawide with a resolution of 3440 by 1440p, so ultrawide 1440p, nice crisp and clear resolution. PPI is good here, hitting about 109. Games are crisp and clear, and so is desktop usage. And also to note, this is my most recommended overall, my most recommended monitor ever. Obviously, not everyone wants a 34-inch ultrawide, but if you do, this is the one to get. And not only that, this is my personal everyday monitor that I use. That says something when I review a ton of monitors every day. This is the one that I go back to. And obviously this uses an LG IPS panel. All right, this hits 144 hertz natively and has a factory overclock up to 160 hertz. This also has G-Sync and FreeSync Premium. Brightness is great, way outdoing its 400 nit SDR rating, going well over 500 nits of brightness. Very vibrant, very beautiful. Colors are great, being very accurate out of the box due to a factory calibration covering 98% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. So photo and video editing, which I do on this, as well as gaming, you can do it. Response time and ghosting is fantastic, hitting a 1 millisecond great response time, but that translates to basically no ghosting. This is crystal clear, as good as the GQ 950, which is very surprising as this did come out before that monitor. Fantastic for not only beautiful games that are more slower paced, but also very fast paced FPS games. Now for the lowest price that we've ever seen this at, for $599, if you're looking for a 34-inch ultrawide and want one of the best in the market, if not the best for the price, this is the best time to buy it and my pick for the best gaming monitor Black Friday deal. Again, if you want to check out any of the 5 deals in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. Actually, that would be 6 deals with the Neo G8. All right, happy shopping. Hope you pick up your monitor before it goes out of stock. I know a lot of these are going to go out of stock. Definitely the LG ones are definitely going out of stock, but this was today's tech reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.